Scoot over you and adjust. All right. Looks like we are live. Well, that's cool. Visuals and that we're good. Let me get this adjusted real quick. There we go. So you're in. You're good to go.
We're on?
Yeah, we're on.
Oh, I didn't know the intro was done. Well, welcome back to live feed reads with Jason and Paul. Again, we missed last week because of once again illness issues. But either way, we're back. I just got back from the Tampa Bay sporting clays up in Pasco. Kids, don't try this at home, but you make it from Pasco County to here in 30 minutes. But this was important. Didn't want to miss again.
Yeah.
And so, honestly, you know what took the longest? Getting from 75 and 60 to here.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I heard that like people in our group chats and everything have been sending messages that there's traffic everywhere, accidents everywhere.
Unbelievable. That's a good thing, but but it was just the longest.
We don't mean that.
Went from Pasco County on 52 to here in 20 minutes, and then
small.
Yeah. All right. So today, there's an attorney here he's out of Lakeland, but you hear him say, "We sue drunk drivers," right?
Okay.
And Jason, you're thinking, well, that must be a great case because the person's drunk, and if the insurance company doesn't offer us a lot of money, we can go to trial and we can inflame the passion of the jury, so to speak.
Right.
Adjusting the microphone because no one likes a drunk driver, especially no one likes a drunk driver that causes an injury, right?
Right.
So you're thinking, okay, well, we'll just go to trial, and then I'm going to tell them how much about my injuries, my medical bills, lost wages, all those things we've talked about in the past. But then I'm really going to stir them up because I'm going to tell them Jason was drunk, and Jason was 2-3 times the legal limit, and Jason hit me, and now my life's changed forever. And so my lawyer is going to really hammer home how drunk Jason was, how he was out partying, doing drugs and drinking, and slammed into me and all that, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You would think that's going to be a big case, a moneymaker of a bing, 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 ring the bell, right?
Right.
Well, guess what? Jason has a smart lawyer, okay? And Jason's lawyer is going to say, Your Honor, we admit that we're at fault. And we admit that Mr. Reed is entitled to punitive damages.
Okay.
Okay, because you get punitive damages if you're hit by a drunk driver. You're there to punish them.
Right.
In a negligence case, you're there to make the plaintiff whole, compensate them for their lost wages, medical bills, and pain and suffering.
Right.
Well, in a drunk driving case, you get to punish the defendant as well. So not only do you get your other compensatory damages, you get to ask for punishment damages. That's what punitive damages are.
Oh, right.
Punitive damages are meant to punish.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And it's really more for big companies.
Corporations.
Because maybe what I did to you is worth $10,000 as a company, or $20,000, or $100. Okay. Mm-hmm. But which is a slap on the wrist or whatever, but you whack them for $100 million. Now I got to change my behavior. I got to do something different.
Right.
All right. And so that's kind of the theory of punitive damages is actually meant to punish someone for their bad behavior.
Right. Okay.
All right. But back to our case where you have injured me and you were intoxicated, but your lawyer says Jason was intoxicated, Your Honor. We're not arguing that Mr. Reed was at fault at all. We're stating that we were negligent, and we're even going to go one farther and say, and we actually agree that Mr. Reed is entitled to punitive damages. Okay, so what does that do to your case? or I should say my case.
Yeah.
So you've admitted liability. You've admitted that I was injured, and you've admitted that you were drinking at the time of the accident.
I don't know what it does to the case, but it makes the person seem like a little less desirable to punish, if that makes sense.
Well, that does make sense, but it gets even better for your.
Okay.
The judge now has to say, okay, well, now we're going to divide the case into two different phases. The first phase, the compensatory phase. The second phase is the punitive damages phase.
Okay.
Okay. Is that good for me or bad for me?
I don't know.
Well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's bad for me because when the jury's going to award me my medical bills, lost wages, and my pain and suffering, loss of the inconvenience of life, mental anguish, and all those damages, they don't get to hear you were drunk at all.
Oh.
So there's no standing up on the pulpit and screaming, that SOB was drunk. He was 3 times the legal limit, and he caused me all these problems. Okay. They don't get to hear it. None of that comes in. So then the jury says, okay, Jason, we'll give you, or Paul will give you the medical bills, any lost wages, and we're going to give you some pain and suffering. But I got news for you. It's nowhere near the amount. Think about it. If you're a jury hearing how egregious this accident was and why I'm injured, it's nowhere near the amount the pain and suffering component would be if they got to hear that you were drunk at the time of the accident.
Wow.
Right. All right, so we go through the case, and they give me some pittance. Okay, we'll give you your medical bills. We'll give you this, and we're going to give you $5,000 or $10,000 because they don't like giving pain and suffering money.
Yeah.
Now,
jurors, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if in this case, as an example, and then you get to the punitive damages, and now after they've given you a little to nothing,
right?
Now they get to hear it, and they're like, oh man. If I had known that, I would have given more money here.
Sure.
Okay, so then they come back and they may whack me with punitive damages. Maybe a lot. Yeah. But let's say you're average Joe. Okay, and you make, I don't know what average Joe makes.
Right, right.
30,000, 40, 50,000, even 100,000. So whatever it is, and they offer punitive damages. Now there's like, oh, I would have given them $1 million here. So I'll just make it up here on the backside on the punitive damages. So we're still going to punish Jason, right?
But insurance doesn't cover punitive damages.
Oh, that's a whole different issue.
Okay,
we'll get to that. But yes, correct. They do not. But even that, they give $1 million, right? Well, the court will come back, and it's called a remititure, and say, well, punitive damages cannot bankrupt someone. And so I put in I make $30,000 a year. Let's go $100,000 a year. I make $100,000 a year. I have a mortgage. I have a car payment. I have this. I have that. I have that. And so my disposable income is $10,000 a year. Oh, well, then there you go, Jason. Here's your $10,000. Or here you go, Paul. Here's your $10,000.
Wow.
Yeah. And so,
that changes
everything. Oh, it's not even fair. It's just what happens. And the thing is, on this case, which was a 2013 2nd District case here, it was a death case. So they really wanted the jury to know that you killed me. Sorry, Chuck. So shortly before trial, Jason admitted, I'm paraphrasing or substituting, that he was negligent and he was the sole cause of the collision. He also admitted that he acted with gross negligence and conceded the plaintiff was entitled to punitive damages. So then Jason, like I'd said, sought to exclude this one was drug use. I guess you were a druggie back, drug use from the compensatory phase of the trial, and therefore the jury could not hear about your bad behavior.
And is that just like something that they can do, or is that very specific circumstances under which they can have that split?
No. Well, if you're an idiot defense lawyer and you don't admit liability and you don't admit that I'm entitled to punitive damages, then it would come in.
Then it would all get argued.
Well, who would do that?
Okay, so if you're
that would be malpractice. You don't want that lawyer
to split.
Okay. Yeah, you want to go in and say
it's a maneuver. Of
course,
it's a part of it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, what defense lawyer doesn't do this?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Not a good one, and not one that wouldn't be subject to a malpractice claim.
Well, like representing yourself too, you wouldn't.
Yeah,
you wouldn't know.
That
Why
would be
would
foolish. Yeah, that would be foolish. Yeah. Then
I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, because what happened here, I'm telling you. Let's see. So,
Goodness, man.
of course, this case, once again, the judge did not bifurcate it, did not split it up, right?
Okay.
Well, the jury came back, gave him $18,000 for the funeral, $400,000 for the wife's loss of support and services. You know, let's say she was a stay-at-home mom, so to speak, didn't work, and so support and services, she got that. And then they gave her $4 million for pain and suffering. Why? Because they heard about all of this in the compensatory phase. And then what happens? It all gets thrown out, and they have to do it all over again, and they have to do it with the bifurcation and the split.
Wait, how did it get thrown out?
Because you appealed when the judge did not split it up and bifurcate it. The judge says, no, we're going to try it all at once. We're going to do it all at once for a judicial economy.
Okay.
And you said, well, Your Honor, judicial economy, my ass. That was $5 million. We're gonna do it again.
Wow.
And the second district said, yep.
Wow.
And so that's why you think you have this very solid, very strong, case.
How long did all this take too? I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Let's see.
I don't know if there's
the accident was in 2008.
Okay.
The appeal was in 2013.
Man, see that? I mean,
oh no.
And especially in a case where someone died, that all of this is happening.
Well, and think about it. Someone died. The trial is not very long in the sense that you don't have medical experts saying,
waiting forever.
Say, Paul had prior back problems and prior knee problems, prior this, and you bringing in all those doctors that tell them about this and this, and you've got to bring in I'm dead.
Yeah. So
it's like, ladies and gentlemen, here's what happened.
Right.
He's dead.
Yeah.
But it still took from 2008 date of death to 2013. Now, mind you, 2013 was a do it all over again.
Yeah.
So there was no money at the end of the rainbow in 2013. It was do it again.
Oh, that was when the appeal came.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
So, throw in another couple of years. Probably. Now, it could have settled. They could have done something or otherwise. But obviously, on a death case where someone's intoxicated, in all fairness, the plaintiff, the wife, wanted her pound of flesh.
Yeah.
But in reality, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You just don't get your pound of flesh.
If you think of it, like, say they were in an accident and the person was a child who was killed, it was like 5 or 6 years old. By the time they hit 2013 and get the appeal, the court case was as old as the child was.
Right.
Like, that's insane. Like,
well, exactly. And that's why, it's like, how long, I get this question all the time, how long is this going to take?
Yeah.
And it can,
the
answer is days, weeks, or years.
Yeah.
Or decades.
Yeah.
Because there is no way of knowing. Let's say you weren't drunk, right? Mm-hmm. And you killed me. Well, then, and you had whatever amount of insurance. Mm-hmm. And this is problematic, and people don't understand. The lawyer's going to say, look, Jason only has a $10,000 policy, a $25,000 policy, a $100,000 policy, and we can sue him. We can sue Jason, and we can get a huge verdict against him, even though you're not drunk.
Right.
I'm dead.
Right.
And so you can still. So we're going to get a judgment against Jason for $5 million, $10 million. You killed John Morgan. Right. You killed Catania. You killed some doctor. You killed
some big well-known.
Whatever. Anyway. And so maybe it's $50 million. That they get a judgment against you. Do you know what Jason does? What do you do, Jason?
Crawl in a hole.
You do not. Okay. So about 6 blocks down from the courthouse in downtown Tampa is Florida Avenue.
Okay.
So Jason walks down to Florida Avenue. He hangs a right, and he goes about 2 blocks to the federal courthouse. And then Jason hits the elevator button up to the 5th floor, and he files bankruptcy for $2,500. And so then what my estate, because I'm dead, they get a little piece of paper that says there was a judgment entered in Hillsborough County for $50 million. And that's what you get, plus Jason's insurance. Let's say Jason had $100,000 in insurance. So you'll say, here's the 100 insurance company, Allstate, State Farm. Here's our 100, and here's that piece of paper that you can frame. And I have 2 of them. I should show you in my office. One for $12 million, and one for $1.6 million.
Wow.
And that's what it was worth. The piece of paper that we got.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you're not getting
bankruptcy, and that's why it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, it is.
But we have this conversation. Every lawyer, every personal injury lawyer has this talk about. We can sue them. Right. I'll give you an example. And I don't know the numbers, but they sued O.J. Simpson after the thing. $40 million, $50 million. Yeah, O.J. had a golf bag that was worth some money, Heisman Trophy worth some money, a little this, a little that. If you could do the research, they got 2 or 3, maybe $4 million of that $40 million. And he didn't even have to file bankruptcy. His money basically is his pension. Can't take a pension. Can't take somebody's retirement. Can't take their 401k.
Okay.
Once again, you could still have a lot of money, but if it's in the right spot, it's tied up. And what else can't you do? What rich people do, filthy rich, is they'll file bankruptcy in Miami area, that southern district down there, after they put $100 million in one of those homes. Homestead protection, you keep it.
Okay.
And again, I'm not a bankruptcy lawyer, but so the problem is in this personal injury, it's hard to collect money, if not impossible, from your average Joe, because they'll just file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. And what's really mind-boggling is how much of this is out of your control. Like
exactly.
You're the catalyst, right? You can kick it off. You can get it started. You know how. I mean, there are things that you do that make it obviously like you're relevant. You're not irrelevant to the flow of it. Like you have an impact. So I'm not saying you don't have an impact, but like the level at which I think clients believe you're responsible for everything that happens in a case is
and sometimes I don't say sometimes, there have been some catastrophic and actually I think you saw it where we got badmouthed on Facebook because I went to this person's house and I spent about an hour there and come to find out and I knew that, and that's why I wanted to go talk to them. There was only a $10,000 policy of insurance from the at-fault party. That was it. So I went there to explain how all this works. Yeah. And told them, look, you don't need me. Yeah. Call the insurance company. They will literally run over and hand you that $10,000 check. It was bad. I said, but I can't help you. No one can. I said, call other lawyers. Ask them. Say, look, here I got 100, 200, 300,000 medicals. I got broken bones. I got this.
I remember that.
But tell them there's $10,000 in benefits, and I'm being told by at least one lawyer or 2 lawyers or 3 lawyers there's not much anyone can do, and so I just said I'm not going to sign you up. I can't do it because there's nothing I can do for you. Yeah. And she was pissed. Yeah. If she was pissed 6 months later. It was really 6 months, maybe a year later, because I had to go back and kind of say, well, wait, who was this and what happened, and read the notes and all, because I know what happened. Yeah. And she just
when people like that,
it's a tough pill to swallow.
It is.
And I get it.
I get it too. They want to. I don't know, even out the world somehow. They want to make balance to a wave that hit them some way, and I get how stuff like that hits the reviews and things like that. And there's not much. I mean, there's not much even we can do about taking reviews like that down. It's just a matter of letting the good reviews speak.
Well, I agree. And then here's another thing. Of course, in the medical malpractice,
but it's sad that
the medical malpractice on a death case, and we get these calls all the time. So Jason will call them and say, look, my mom or my dad or my brother or whoever I believe was the victim of malpractice. Yeah. What are the first 2 questions that I'll ask you? So let's say it's your mom.
Mm-hmm.
First question is, Jason, was your mom married? No, my dad died, 10 years ago. Okay. And I say, well, Jason, I know your mom's 60 years old or 70 years old, 50 years old or whatever. I said, did she have children under the age of 25? You go, no, everyone's, if I'm 30 or 35 or no. I'll say,
So
well,
those are the two questions.
two questions.
Okay.
If the answer is no and no, Jason, there's nothing I can do for you. Well, the doctor admitted that he gave my mom 20 times the amount of medication that he was supposed to. So liability is not an issue. I understand. Nothing anybody can do for you. Why? The medical malpractice wrongful death combination statute says that basically if you're not married, have a spouse, or you don't have a child under the age of 25, you're entitled to the funeral expenses.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
That's
it's
that's
like
a
swimming
very
at your own risk.
That's a very tough pill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell people, look, don't kill the messenger. I didn't create this mess.
Yeah, right.
I said, and you can Google that one. You can call other lawyers and say, just save yourself some time. Say, I called, Reed, or I called whomever, and they said that even if the negligence is clear, my mom wasn't married, there was no spouse, and didn't have a child, and therefore I'm entitled to the funeral expenses. And they'll say, yeah, if they know what they're doing. Now, it's my understanding, because we're members of the trial lawyers lobbying group up in Tallahassee, that they're trying to change that.
Okay.
My guess would be that somebody up there,
something happened to someone.
Exactly, and that's how things changes. When it happens to me, now it makes a difference.
Right.
But until it does, what do I care?
Oh yeah.
So, but whether it'll pass or not, who knows? Because the medical community has their own lobbyist, and they don't want that to happen. And here's the sad thing: think about this. I screw up, and listen, I don't want the medical doctors and everybody else, coming down on me. But I'm just saying, hypothetically, I screw up, and would I rather? And you're going to be brain dead, but you're not going to, or on a life support or something, but you're not dying. You're kind of breathing on your own. There's no pulling the plug, whatever. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be like that for 40 years. Mm. Well, if I'm the medical community, what would I rather have Jason do? Because Jason's not married and he doesn't have kids.
Pull the plug?
I'd rather you die.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, we tried everything we could.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But and then some lawyers said you don't even get to whether they did it, whether it was negligence, because you're not married and you don't have children.
Yeah.
And it was a medical malpractice potentially.
Wow.
Well, bye, Jason.
We want this problem to go.
Yeah, exactly. Now again, that's a hypothetical.
Right.
But
obviously.
Look, TV stuff. Whatever.
Someone said, make sure it's a great funeral.
Yeah.
So we did
the Queen of England.
We did have a question come in a couple of minutes ago. I know we're going long today, but this is all good stuff.
Yeah.
So what would happen if you caused an accident due to a medical problem that you knew about?
You knew about, you're on the hook. I'm driving down the street and I have no issues with my heart, and I have a blowout. Well, that is an affirmative defense. That's a defense to because it's not negligence.
Yeah.
Remember, all of this is negligence. Let's just say you have road rage and you intentionally ram someone. Your insurance company ain't covering it. Now, you still will be on the hook. Mm-hmm. That would be like a battery.
How do you prove road rage?
Well, eyewitnesses.
History of mental language.
Well, some. Oh yeah, he cut me off, so I rammed him. On your recorded statement, to your insurance company, you know what you're going to get? Jason, thank you.
You're dumb enough to say that?
Oh,
You've seen it? Oh my word! Oh my word!
Yeah.
I'm so like.
Let's say I'm the victim. Yeah. Or I say, oh no, he flipped. I flipped him the bird, and he rammed me. So I'm the victim. It's your insurance company say, oh, well, they'll deny my claim because they'll take the position based on my testimony that you were intentional. Yeah. So once in a while people will come in and I'll say, no, that's not what happened. Yeah. Is it? Because here's why. Yeah. Oh no, of course it didn't happen that way. Yeah, you don't want that. And I forget there was one other thing. Oh, wow. Another thing is in which you'll see on interrogatories, they ask, was there a mechanical failure to your vehicle that caused the accident? And this is normally what people say, my brakes gave out.
Okay.
Okay. Well, in theory, a sudden and unexpected brake failure on a car that's, mechanically sound is a defense.
Sure.
Because remember, it's not negligence. If you
put on an antique.
No. Well, let's say you bought a brand new car, and you're rolling off the thing, and your brakes gave out.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you sue Ford or the dealership or something like that, but you're not going to be responsible for. Look, I just bought a brand new car. It's got 4 miles on it, and I'm driving down the street, and the brakes gave out.
Yeah. How do you
now, I've heard that's happened, but it usually doesn't fly because then you better have some pretty good maintenance records.
Right.
I take my car in every 6 months. They test this. Yeah. Well, then you got a shot. But in all fairness, brakes don't typically just give out unless there's some neglect.
Yeah.
But it is a defense. So remember, intentional conduct and acts of God, so to speak, or things like you said, not a heart attack's act of God, but a medical condition. In fact, we had one where a wasp stung a guy, and he had an anaphylactic shock.
Wow.
And smoked. I got it on video. We probably can't use it, but there was a doorbell, camera. And these 2 elderly women are riding their bikes. Boom, smoked them, and then kept going on down and smoked a mailbox and smoked the side of a house, all on that little.
Was he having like a attack?
Well, he said
from it.
Yeah. So what happened was the ambulance comes because they're not well, and he's not well. And they said that there was like a bee sting in the back of his neck.
Wow.
We still were able to get the policy limits, but it took some time.
Oh, wow.
It took some time. It was not okay. Look at these 2 poor women. Your guy mowed them over. It didn't go like that at all.
Right.
Yeah. It was probably over a year.
It's sad when stuff like that happens. Like some of that's just bad luck. I don't know. What do you want to call it? Like wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. Oh, period.
Definitely.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yes. It's total wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was one of them. Now the kicker is here's
we want to blame somebody because we want somebody.
Oh, dude, these ladies
we want someone to be
they got blasted. So, but here's what happened. The guy lived from me. He lived to the right. Like 4 or 5 houses down from where the doorbell was. So he's over here. The doorbell catches him going down, and then when he's coming back home is when he blasted him. So our position, and he's saying he thinks he got stung like in the garage before he left. And I say, well, then at some point you shouldn't. This is creative lawyering. You shouldn't have driven your car if you knew you were susceptible to bee stings, or at any point after you got stung. There was a point in time, and this is where the medical where you were. You don't go from 0 to 10.
Right.
You go. There's a 1 and a 2. Now it may be a few minutes,
right,
and it may be relatively quickly, but at that point he should have not been driving anymore. He tried to make it home, and in that couple of minutes is when he blasted our ladies.
Yeah, he should have pulled over
immediately, right, or whatever. But I get it. I'm not feeling good. Let me get home. Yeah. But so that's how we were able to
get
can
escalate quick.
Yeah. Oh no. It can be real quick.
Yeah.
But it didn't. Again, the theory it didn't happen quick enough that he left his house and still thought he could go wherever it is he wanted to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bee sting and I'm blowed up. And need my EpiPen. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's. But it took some.
Because there are some people who are that.
Oh, absolutely! Just boom,
and done. Yeah.
Shellfish and whatever. Yeah.
What's the movie from when I was a kid? My Girl, or whatever. The movie where the boy, Macaulay Culkin's like kid, he's throwing rocks at like a beehive or something, and he gets stung by bees and he dies. His dad
that's not
his
funny.
girlfriend's dad's like a mortician or something. I think it's what's the guy from Blues Brothers? Aykroyd?
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi.
Yeah, it might be Dan Aykroyd.
Right.
That's the.
I didn't see that one.
Anyway,
ladies and gentlemen.
yeah.
Well, anyway, we've
Sorry.
been going on for 30
Yeah,
minutes, so
right.
we're going to have to cut out of here.
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next Friday, hopefully with some interesting content. Other than that,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful day,
Have fun.
and enjoy the weekend.
My wife and I's anniversary. I forget, it's in the teens. But
Shout out.
It's coming up tomorrow.
All right. Happy
So-
anniversary.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
We done?
Yeah, we're done.
All right, cool.
Okay.